at W50 and also being Japanese, I would try to bring like a couple influences here, and usually he would kind of direct me back on the path. He's like, it's getting too Japanese.
No powders.
Yeah, no powders, less Japanese. Stay more Mexican.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Yeah. But
change that for a jalapeno.
Good. Yeah, but he's great though.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you were there when they got their star.
Yeah.
And how long into you being there did they get their star?
It was like shortly after I joined. Like, I think I joined in like, I can't remember. It was like 2015 in like May, perhaps.
Yeah.
And then it was only like maybe like 4 or 5 months after that. I can't really remember, but yeah, maybe like 4 or 5 months we got our first star.
Yeah. How was that? Like reaction
great.
In the kitchen?
I mean, it was great. Val was super excited, and it was almost kind of like, it was like shock, excitement, probably like a little like,
oh shit.
Here, but
I better fucking up the ante now.
Yeah. But it was good. I mean, we had a lot of talented people working there, and we all wanted to get the Michelin star, and so we got it.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Were you there when they got their 3?
Yeah, I was there when they got the second Michelin star.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Am I wrong there? Do they have 3?
No, not yet.
Okay, got
not
you.
Yet.
Sorry, Val.
Yeah.
I didn't be like, fucking asshole.
Hopefully soon.
He'll fucking get it. Yeah. I know he will.
Yeah.
I mean, his new space is
gorgeous.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is nuts. I mean, I hadn't seen the old space. I had never been there.
Yeah.
But when he did 12 days, were you working there?
Yeah. I was
okay.
There. Mm-hmm.
Did you come to eat at Charter Oak?
That's what I'm saying. I saw you there.
So you were at the table there with him?
I was there.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. Now I remember. I fucking, dude, that shit was shit in a brick, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, because for 12 days, you have all these chefs coming in, international, and like you impress, like, R&D the menu, give it to Chef Costa. No, this is not good.
Yeah.
This is like fucking.
Yeah, it's intense.
Yeah, and then I don't trust anybody, right, to do it. So I'm like running around and trying to expo. It's like fucking.
Yeah. It's intense, dude.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was fun, and I could tell that you guys had a great time, and it was probably a long time coming. Yeah. That you guys would go out to dinner and like relax and have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, you treated us great at Charter Oak, and we had a great meal.
Yeah.
And the 12 days was like an honor to be there. And Val and I were talking about it, that we were actually like the last guest chefs to do it after, unfortunately, the fire happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally, day 11, you guys. Mm-hmm. That was that's a rough time. But I told Chef, I'm like, dude, Chef Costa, you went out like Tupac.
Yeah.
No one can ever take your 3 stars away from you.
Yeah,
like, you're fucking done. You just carry them to your grave now.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. You can't lose them ever, even if you do. And I was like, it's better than going out like Rod Stewart in Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's like, just fucking accept it. And I know that it sucks, but at the end of the day, Uncle Harlan has enough money to rebuild it. You'll be all right.
Yeah,
for sure. So after Californios, or when you're at Californios, are you thinking about moving on, or?
Yeah, so I'd always expressed to Val that I wanted to open my own place.
Yeah.
And Val was like a very good mentor on that way, because he knew, I told him early on, like, I want to open my own restaurant, and he was very good about like guiding me in that direction. Of course, he was like, stay focused at the job first, and work on your stuff on your own time. But yeah, I started doing pop-ups on the side. Like, my last year there in 2019, I started doing pop-ups on the weekends. So I would, just be like working my ass off.
Yeah.
I did it like once a month, and then I started doing it more frequently. And people started like responding really well to it. And then eventually I just told Val, like, I told him, like, I'm going to go to Japan one last time before I like open my restaurant. And then he was like, yeah, man, do it. He was like super supportive.
Yeah.
He was like, get me some like people in line to, like hire up a bunch of people and make sure we can like do well, and that's it.
Word up. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, Val.
Yeah,
he's props great. To him, dude.
Yeah.
Usually it's sometimes it's tough leaving restaurants. Your chef feels like it's a slap in the face.
Yeah. And
it could turn into kind of like a volatile situation for at least a week. And then it's fine. It's like the week before you leave is always like, fuck you, and then the last week is like, okay, fine.
Yeah. No, he was very he handled it with a lot of grace. And he was very supportive.
Now the pop-ups, how did you How do you formulate a pop-up?
I mean, luckily San Francisco is a town that loves pop-ups, so I kind of just bounced some ideas off other people and saw what they were doing. But back, when you first do like your first pop-up, it's like almost always a shit show. It's always like,
I didn't hire enough people.
What's going on? Why isn't everything perfect? Like in a restaurant, it's crazy. But the way I usually formulate pop-ups is get the venue, secure tickets for how many people it is, find a prep space, and then prep everything as much as you can. It's just like kind of in that order, like find the space, get the money from the tickets, get the food, prep it out, and then hopefully execute it well enough.
Yeah. Now, I know how you deal with unhappy customers in a restaurant. How do you deal with unhappy customers at a pop-up? You just like give them their money back, or have you had to deal with that, or because it's a pop-up, are they just like, yeah, whatever, like if they don't like it?
Yeah, I mean, most of the customers at pop-ups, they kind of come with like an open mind, so they're kind of more lenient than most restaurant customers. They understand that it's like a restaurant that's trying to get off the ground, but we have had people that have obviously complain once in a while, and I will like personally go to the table and be like, I'm sorry you didn't enjoy, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Like I don't make any excuses. Thank you for being so patient. Obviously we're figuring things out. This is a pop-up, and I hope I can invite you to like the restaurant in the brick and mortar.
Yeah.
You
heard that.
Handle it as professional as you can.
Now, how did you find this space?
So I've been looking for spaces for a while. I was working with a broker, and she kind of like toyed with the idea of this space. She was like, Lawfully just closed in March of 2020, and I was looking for spaces in 2020 as well.
Is that where this?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't realize I was in a royalty fucking. This is a nice office.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Who else works in here?
Just my manager.
Just your manager? Oh.
Yeah. The office is what sold it. The office.
I know. This is like literally you can get away from your cooks up here.
I know.
Don't knock on the door.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're like, but chef,
please.
At 5:15, they're like, hey, I've been meaning to ask you this question for about 3 hours.
Yeah. Did you want to start that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you remember that thing you wanted me to start? You're like, oh shit. Never mind. We'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And how many seats do you have? Now, when I walked in, is that like a bar area?
Yeah. So
and
you
then
walk
the back
through
is
the
the
bar
dining
area.
room?
Yeah. So
okay.
The building is divided into two parts. There's the bar area that you walk through, which will be separate from the restaurant. We're going to rename the bar Iris, so it'll work autonomously from the restaurant, serving like upscale cocktails, craft cocktails. I work with a very talented bar manager named Ilya Romanov.
Okay.
He opened up a lot of great cocktail programs in the city, like at Beehive and Dorian and Niku Steakhouse. He was in charge of all of those.
Okay. How did you get him? How did you get into contact with him?
I knew him. I met him through my assistant general manager, Mayanka.
Yeah.
Mayanka Romanov, or Mayanka Somaya. And so she introduced me.
Got you.
And so she's my AGM. And that's how I met him.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So as of now, do you have cooks?
Yeah, I have a couple of people trickling in.
Okay.
Yeah, some like very eager cooks have been like interviewing.
Yeah. Got you. How do you feel you want to build this culture? Is this like a university for kids to come and cut their teeth, or is this more of you want people that have been in the Michelin star game for a little bit and kind of know, what's up? What are you looking for?
I think about culture a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, me too. It's like it's the only thing that keeps everything together.
Yeah, I think about company culture a lot. I would like to say that I'd like to build it around what I fostered at Californios, and that's kind of like, for me, it's a culture of respect, like mutual respect between like the chef and like a cook, or front of the house or dishwasher or whoever, just mutual respect for your job and my job. I think that culture is so important, and I think that's like why respect is like very high up there for me.
Yeah.
In regards to your question, like, I think that I'm gonna hopefully hire a good mix of both seasoned cooks to get us off the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't hire a bunch of green cooks.
Yeah,
to,
for sure.
Just
feel like, why is nothing going right?
Yeah. But eventually, I would like more like this to be more of a mentor training ground. For people. For
sure.
But I think when we first start, we have a good base of some veterans coming in.
Yeah, yeah. I've always wanted to be part of the success of these young cooks. You know, like I looked at Charter Oak as sort of a training ground for the restaurant.
Yeah,
like you come here. You learn the culture, and you don't. I always tell my cooks, like, you don't need 3 stars to act like you have 3 stars, and like, let's just keep that standard and see where we can go. And then I've always just wanted to, a cook to go to a 3-star restaurant and be like, hey, who'd you learn from? And it's like, oh, I learned from David. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that I think is almost a better legacy than me getting fucking James Beard awards and all that bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like, when you look back on your cooking career, who do you think influenced you most? It's like there's always that one chef that was probably your mentor.
Yeah, for sure. Jake Rojas. He's been on the podcast.
Nice.
Yeah. Badass. He worked at Robichon and all that, kind of brought that to Rhode Island, where no one in Rhode Island was ready for that. To the point where, the people are so stuck in their ways in Newport, Rhode Island, that the restaurant didn't make it. I mean, there was a few nights where we'd do 2 covers. You know what I mean? And like the food was great, but it's just like, how do you prep for 2 covers?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
But that happens a lot. But I mean, you have a perfect location here.
Thank you.
Yeah, like this is like fucking prime real estate. I mean, I was walking down the neighborhood. I'm like, this is nice. Like everybody's out.
Yeah.
How did you deal with COVID?
So on COVID, like I said, when COVID hit, it was really bad timing. I was in line to open the brick and mortar in May of 2020. And at that time, I had like an investor, and we were going to be partners, and we had like a huge building we were working with. And basically, it's like classic story. Like, here's an investor that shows you everything. It's like, this is what we're going to do. But then COVID hit, and then the investor backed out, and I was just like kind of stuck going back to like everything is on me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna like pick up my shit and stop complaining and just fucking do whatever else is doing.
Get it done, right?
Like sell some takeout food.
Yeah.
So I sold takeout food out of Mr. Jew's.
Okay, you were doing bento boxes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Very cool. Yeah. That restaurant is fucking amazing.
It's great.
I love that restaurant.
Yeah, Brandon Jew is like one of the most generous people I've ever met.
Really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
He's very cool. So he let us use the Moongate Lounge, which it's in their 2nd floor, and it has a whole kitchen up there.
Okay.
So he wasn't using it. So I was just like, hey man, can I cook in here and sell some bento boxes? He's like, sure, absolutely. Yeah.
How'd you meet him?
We've been like familiar. I'm like pretty familiar with a lot of his sous chefs and some of his cooks, and so I am very like, we knew who we were, and I just kind of like reached out to him during the time of the pandemic, like around like May.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Now,
is the goal of this restaurant, do you want stars? Are you going for it? Are you like, is this going to be a 3-star? Or like, how are you looking at it?
Yeah, I think I want to go for Michelin stars. I'm going to be realistic about my expectations.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say, we're going for 3 out the gate. But I mean, I would think I'm pretty realistic. I want to hit 1, and then once we hit 1, we go on to 2.
Yeah.
Once we hit 2, we go on to 3.
Okay.
But one step at a time.
Yeah, for sure. And do you see yourself kind of venturing out into other restaurants after this becomes a success, or are you kind of like, I'm just wishful thinking here, or are you like, no, this for like 10 years? And then I'll think about something else.
I mean, it's a little soon to say. I mean, the restaurant's not even open yet, so I think I'll worry about this for now.
He's like, I got a cafe open next door too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, so it seems like fucking everything's going well for you. Do you have is there any other kind of stages that you want to do before you get in here, or are you sort of like everything out so I can be more creative in my zone?
Yeah, well, I did a stage, like I said, I did in November of 2019, and or not November. I did it in August of 2019. I went to Japan for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of like my last big stop.
Where did you go?
I went to Ishikawa. I went to their 3 restaurants. I went there: Ishikawa, Kohaku, and Ren.
Okay.
They kind of like rotated me wherever they needed me.
Got